I'm so excited to bring you on. I'm going to wait. Oh, Mel is here. Yay. Let me get him on. I've been in a mastermind together for many, many years. That's how we got to know each other. And now he's just become such a dear friend. And I'm so excited to share him with you today. Hello, Mel. How are you?
Oh my gosh, how are you?
I'm
This is
great. I'm excited because we just get to catch up.
it really is. And this is the first time I've ever been live with someone on the IG, and it's with
Really?
you. Yeah.
Amazing. Okay, cool. So tell us, first of all, you have a new podcast that's out. Tell us how you pick the name, what it means to you, and let's just kind of go from there.
Oh, awesome. So the new show is the Affluent Entrepreneur Show. Here's the thing is that couple things. One is in my journey, and you may have experienced this too, as an entrepreneur, we get on this treadmill of entrepreneurship and we start to say, I got to get sales, and all of a sudden get customers, and now there's operations, and now there's marketing, and then there's team, and all of a sudden we find ourselves looking at it and saying, wait, I don't have the freedom and the financial wealth that I thought this was going to give me. I'm actually imprisoned by my business. And the only way that I see to do better is to run faster, harder, longer on the treadmill. And all of a sudden we're sitting there as what I call a treadmill entrepreneur versus an affluent entrepreneur, someone that actually has a rich life in the sense of feeling and experiences, not just money in the bank, and has an impact while having complete freedom. And so what I found at the unfortunate hands of cancer was the importance of doing your business a certain way and doing your business and your money right. Because when I was diagnosed 2 years ago with cancer, I had to pull myself out, my active role out of the business somewhat.
Yeah.
But the fact of the matter is that I had to fight the cancer emotionally, psychologically, medically, physically, all of that, but I didn't have to fight it financially. And this was before the pandemic hit, and then the pandemic hit, and I saw so many people that had they just done the business right and done their money side of the business right and their money personally right, they would have been okay. And so that's how this show kind of came about, is this realization that we don't have these conversations. We don't have money conversations. It's taboo. We're not talking about building wealth, building freedom, and we need to. And so that's what the show is built on.
I love it. Yeah. When I think of you, I've heard you speak and present and share with our mastermind before. And I think you were somebody that really got me thinking of having security in both areas. Like, yes, make money. Yes, be financially secure. But as soon as you're financially secure, enjoy the leftovers. Enjoy, like, because I think I'm naturally sometimes a saver. Like we have, this will be so funny. I don't know if you know this even. So Kent and I have our own separate bank accounts for like what we call fun money. And it's supposed to be just money we're spending each month to like reward ourselves, and that no one can question each other, right? It's just like, if I want to buy whatever I want, I can. He can't yell at me for another pair of shoes. And I found myself saving my fun money. And my accountant, my CPA said, Stacy, the whole point of the fun money is to enjoy it. This is not your rainy day fun. And I think sometimes like we can be one extreme to the next. You'll find somebody who's a natural spender who won't have the nest egg. And then you have somebody who's got like 6 nest eggs and they are penny pinching and not enjoying the wealth they've created. So if anybody's listening, I would love to know from you, are you the natural spender or the natural saver? Like, who are you? If Mel,
You know what? I think my tendency is to save. It's like one of those things that when it goes into the account, it never comes out. It just grows. And yet there is some joy in watching it grow, and the realization that the machine that you're building is getting bigger, and it's going to allow you to take care of your family. And you know, I'm going to be a granddad. I don't know if you know that. I'm going to be a granddad.
You told me, yeah. I'm so excited.
And so so like I'm realizing that that the fact is that I want to make sure that machine lasts. Yeah. Here's the other thing that I think with this fund kind of thing is the way that I've gotten around it is to make sure that the money that's going to build my financial machine goes into an account.
Yeah.
But the money that is for the fun doesn't go into that same account because it's too hard to sit back and go, oh, like we're doing improvements on the house, and hopefully you don't hear any
No,
of the
we're
racket.
good.
But so there's going to be money going out, and I'm like going, I better move that out of that fund
Okay.
to make sure it's somewhere else, so it doesn't feel like it's already spent, but it's there for something else. And I think if we separate out that the fund money into a separate account, we know that the purpose of it, at some point, it might go down to zero, and you're going to build it back up again. But that's what that is there for. Otherwise, I'm a natural saver. Although I do spend a lot, but I'm a natural saver.
I know, that's why I was like, I actually don't know what you're going to say, but I think it's because of your strategy. You've got your ducks in a row, and then it's like, okay, I get to do whatever I want with this. And I think, you know, for people that maybe aren't those natural savers, right, who finally get that savings, they maybe want to like hold on to it so badly. And then I think what happens is we aren't motivated because we feel like, why are we doing all of this? Why are we working so hard? We never get to reward ourselves. We never get to take that vacation. We just bought an RV. Did I tell you that?
No.
Kent and I, yes, we are going to RV this summer. So we bought an RV and we paid for it in cash. And it was like hard to go into that bank account and grab that money. Even though there was going to be plenty of money left over, it was really difficult for me to like, but should we really? This is a lot of money. Like, right? So it's getting comfortable and getting good at being both in the things that are going to light you up, the things that, you know, you enjoy.
It is. I think, you know, what you're talking about is actually the realization that in life, there's actually more than one currency. And it's not just dollars or liras or pounds or euros. It's that there is this currency of joy, of richness. This is why I use the term richness and wealth versus wealth, is because richness to me is the experience and the feeling. Because I know a lot of people that have a tremendous amount of money, but they're miserable. There's no richness in their life.
Yeah.
And if we don't experience life, then where's the richness in it? And so I think that we need to realize and accept and understand that there's multiple currencies that we're trading in our life, and one of them is joy.
So good. Who is the podcast for? Like, when you're coming up with content, who is your perfect person? Like, what are you thinking about? Who are you thinking about as you're crafting this?
Primarily, it's, you know, my primary focus is entrepreneurs, because this is where I think that we get it wrong is, and a lot of the traditional advice, financial planning advice, they don't look at the business side of things, but the business side of things is the funding vehicle.
Right.
And they look at the personal finance and the money side, but they're integrated. They need to be in harmony with each other. And so that's the primary place. So I'll be talking about business, and I talk about optimizing profits and those kinds of things. However, I'm also talking about the money side because they're integrated. So there are those that might want to start a business, that have an idea to start a business, or even those that are in a situation where they're working for a company. The money side of the conversations will still be hugely valuable. Like yesterday, I ended up doing answering a question about how do you negotiate credit cards? It doesn't matter whether you're in business or not. Yeah. And the fact is, we all actually, you know, I mean, you know me. I think everything is a negotiation and everything's negotiable. Yes. So we all should be negotiating credit cards if we're carrying balances, which we can have a different conversation around that. But we all should be negotiating it, and we don't ever get anything that we don't ask for. And so it's really kind of weird. Like, this is a weird story, and I happened to be talking to someone yesterday about it. And he says, do you ever tell that story? I said, no. He says, tell it. So I'm going to tell it, you know, real quickly. I got involved in magic because I saw the movie Harry Houdini when I was 11 years old. And my first entrepreneurial endeavor was doing magic shows for kids' birthday parties. And my parents loved to go to Vegas. And so we were in Vegas. I was, I think, 12 years old at the time. And at the time, Siegfried and Roy were playing at the Tropicana, and we happened to be walking through the lobby of the Tropicana, and I grabbed the house phone, and my mom says, "What are you doing?" I said, "I'll see if I can get a hold of Siegfried and Roy." So I don't know. So I
Right.
picked up the phone and I said, I'm trying to get a hold of Siegfried Roy. And they said, hold on. So they patched me through to backstage where they're prepping for a show that evening.
Yeah.
And Siegfried says, where are you? And I said, well, I'm out here in front of the showroom. He says, well, stay right there. So he comes out. And we end up having this great conversation.
And I believe this
I'm just this little 12-year-old naive kid. And so he turns around and he says, are you coming to the show tonight? I said, he says, you and your parents, you come and you sit in the front row. Like, I didn't really ask, but I stepped out and I did it. Yeah. And all of a sudden and so I think that we need to ask, we need to do these things and step out.
That actually tells me so much more about you, because if you've already been doing this as a child and getting things because you've been doing it, you build confidence in your asks. You're like, well, I don't know, I asked last time and this happened, so I'm just going to ask again. So that just explains you so much more to me, which is so funny. And that's why I'm like, I totally believe the story, because I've seen you, you know, and you're not a negotiator in where it's like you're rude and you're coming up condescending. You are just like, if anything, you're like a smooth talker, and you're like, ooh, I'm gonna talk to the waitress. Let me talk to her real quick. He comes back. He's got like the table that had the wait of like an hour, and like all of a sudden we're getting seated, right? Oh my goodness, Mel, I love you so much. Okay, so getting good at asking, getting good at just like seeing the options, putting it out there. And here's an example that you'll like of me. I'm getting better at this. So I do believe everybody's negotiable. I mean, and you can try, right? So we were going to be renting this room, and I was kind of shocked at the price point. And I said to my team, go back and ask her for this. And she came back and she was like, no, unfortunately, like this is our minimum, right? So you are going to hear no's. But then we go to this place. It was a disaster, like a disaster. Because of COVID, they were not ready. And I messaged this girl and I said, listen, this is not the service we got pre-COVID. And she was like, you're right. I'm refunding your money in full. And it's like, you just don't know when you're going to get a yes or a no, but it doesn't hurt to ask, like, see what happens.
And I think if you do it, like you said, I usually do it in a very playful way.
100%.
You know? And you do it with good nature and like stupid little things you don't even think, like, it sounds cocky, but like, so do I get a wit and charm discount? And I'll just say that. And they go, some people will say, well, let me see what I can do. And like Stephanie, my wife's like going, really? I go, well, let's see what happens. I get upgraded rooms, you know.
Oh my goodness.
So
you are so funny. Okay. Yeah, feel free to ask us questions in the chat below. Mel has a new podcast that it's already launched. So they can already go start binging, checking it out. They can go anywhere podcasts are found.
They can. Okay. They can also go to melabraham.com/show live. Perfect. The only thing is the podcast platform for Apple right now is unstable. So you might see some prior artwork. Don't worry about the cover art. The episodes are there. Season 2 of the show is where the episodes are. We've got 4 episodes right now talking about the money taboo, living an affluent life, what is affluence, and everything. So really nail it, because it is about money, but it isn't just about money. Yeah. Because if we don't bring life along with it, then it's an empty existence. Yeah.
It's a part of it. And that's why you bring it up, that it's not the whole entire piece.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. I'm going to go listen, because every time I've ever heard you present at one of our masterminds, I'm always just like taking notes like crazy. And I'm so excited that you're doing this. And you guys listening, this was something Mel was already doing, but he wasn't like publicly doing it. Yeah. And we all, as like a community or friends, were just like, Mel, you have to put this out there. Like, everybody needs to hear this, because I think you speak about it in a different way. You talk about money very different than anybody I've ever heard. So what is your background when it comes to this?
So I am a CPA by education. My primary focus as a CPA was building businesses, buying and selling businesses, being an expert witness, sitting on boards of directors, helping people build their wealth. But I looked at it more as building their legacy. So how do we create a legacy, not for what we leave behind, but today? which means how do we live today? How do we create today? How do we give today? How do we do this in a way that allows us to create a business that gives to us, gives to others, and gives on beyond us? It's to me, I have a caption. I say it's about creating a life that outlives us.
Yeah. And I will tell you that a lot of traditional CPAs, they just think very differently. They're more like 9-to-5 mentality, helping you do just like the traditional way. And every time I meet a CPA that is now like, was a CPA, but has transitioned into being just an entrepreneur, those are the people I want to talk money with, because they get it. Otherwise, sometimes you have to fight with the CPA to say, no, this is an investment. Like, I know it looks like an expense, but it's going to generate revenue. It's going to do this. You get that. Like, you're never going to say no to investing in yourself, in a mastermind, in court. Like, you get it. Sometimes I have to say to my CPA, like, no, I promise you, I'm going to learn something. I'm going to have great connections. This is going to be phenomenal. And he's like, I just don't get why you have to pay this much money to do this thing, right? Like, can't you call this guy on the phone and just talk to him?
Most CPAs, first off, they've been built on trading hours for dollars. The worst business model in the world.
100%.
So they've commoditized their value. Second, they are scribes of the past. In other words, they want to look over your shoulder and tell you how you did. Well, if it was a painful experience in the past, then you don't need to be reminded. If it was a great experience, you already know. So it's not helpful. And so what we need is, if you're going to get accountants, is someone that's going to look forward and say,
yes,
how do we do this? And start to understand where you're coming from. Because when you could put money into a mastermind and it could be a complete waste.
100%.
But it's not because of the mastermind. It's most likely because we didn't show up.
Yeah. Yeah. And I will say, I've had the CPA that just looks backwards and is like, here's what you did. And now I have the one that says, what are you going to do next month? Show me the numbers. Let's start to prepare. Let's start to look. Let's start to like do the trends, right? And it's so fun. I mean, I love that I get to predict what is going to happen next month. We actually just did our all hands meeting this morning as a team. So we just looked backwards and then we looked forward and said, here's how many new clients we're going to bring on next month. Here's what the revenue is going to look like. That's exciting when you get to meet with people like that.
Yeah. Well, and think about that. What does that do to our mind when we're looking forward and saying, that's the target. That's the goal. I just started running because I wanted to get cardio. I'm running on the beach now and all that stuff. And so that's what I keep doing is setting these little milestones out in front of me. And that's what you're doing for your team. Yeah. I mean, it's great that we did something great last month. And it's not about not being celebratory and thankful and grateful. It's literally about how do we move people forward? How do we measure and keep everyone incentivized and moving forward?
Yeah. Love it. Okay, you guys, go click on Mel's. I'm back. So sorry. I didn't put my do not disturb on. Go click on Mel's profile. Go follow him. He's got all information in his Instagram right now about his podcast. Go stalk it. Go listen. Mel, can you say the link one more time if they just want a direct link to it?
Yeah. It'll be in my bio there, but melabraham.com, melabraham.com/show live.
Amazing.
So that's it. melabraham.com/show live. You can go to that page. We're doing a giveaway. We're having fun. This is about celebrating everyone's future and changing everyone's financial destiny.
I love it. Mel, thanks for being here. You're
always the best. Thank you for having me.
Oh my goodness, so good. We'll have to catch up more. I can't wait to hear. And I definitely going to go listen to those episodes right away. And I can't wait to hear like this conversation being brought out. So thank you for being the one to pioneer it and really tell us, give us suggestions, give us feedback. So again, thanks, friend.
Thank you. Talk soon.
Bye.